feel as if you were worthy of a point?
I thought Hibs were the better team over the whole piece in terms of possession, particularly in the first half. They were very good. They came flying out of the traps. They had good control in the first half, I felt. We didn't really impose ourselves on them at all. They were quite happy to sit in our low block and leave their centre halves on the ball, but they had the extra man in the middle of the pitch, and that was causing us one or two issues. So I'm disappointed with the goal against and the build up to it. I don't think it's a free kick personally. I've watched it back now a couple of times, and I think Manny Adibiega puts Hoylett under a lot of pressure, but there's no pull back. He just gets his body in the way of Hoylett and the ball, and I don't think the free kick should have been awarded, albeit thereafter we need to switch on to take it quickly. It's a fantastic delivery into the box, and Lewis Miller, he's arrived late in that area numerous times and got a lot of important goals for Hibs over the last year or so. So really frustrated with that. But then I thought we made the changes at half time. The tactical changes. It was nothing to do with the performance of Strain and Gallagher. We just had to make a change to try and impose ourselves on Hibs a little bit higher up the park, and I thought that paid off in the end.
And what was your take on the penalty at the end?
Well, Willie Collum invited all the managers to Hampden at the beginning of the season to go through what VAR was looking at. He then went around all the clubs and told all the players what he was going to be looking at. So I think all the defenders and all the players who were in the penalty area in those positions know fine well that VAR is going to look at everything. There's a clear tug on Adibiega's jersey. I know people might argue he wasn't going to get on the end of the cross, but the tug on the jersey prevents him from doing that, and I think they came to the right decision, and I'm delighted that the referee had the courage to give it in what's such an important game for Hibs.
Did you feel as if you could have nicked it at the end?
Definitely when they go down to 10 men, yeah, I think we didn't make that man advantage work, and it's definitely the longest game of football I think I've been involved in. We had 10 minutes added at the end, and then 3 minutes added to the end of the 10 minutes, so it was going on for a hell of a long time, and during that probably last 3 or 4 minutes Hibs had his pen back. They were getting corner after corner, but I reiterate the point that for all the good possession and all the good areas that Hibs got into, Jack Walton has not had a great deal to do, and that's credit to the boys in front of him.
You've avoided 3 consecutive defeats. What's gone wrong, if anything, that you were doing before that you're not doing at the moment?
Well, I think up at Aberdeen we were well beaten by a really good team that's in good form at the moment, and deserved nothing on the night. I think on Wednesday against Motherwell at home we should never have lost that game. If people have watched the goals back, the second one is a real poor mistake from us, but we played really well on the night and got nothing. Today we haven't played all that well at all and took a point, so that's the way the game goes sometimes. There's fine margins, but I'm delighted with the character of the group. That's numerous times now this season that we've had to come back from goals behind to take important results. In a Rugby Park, 3-1 down to draw the game. Against Hibs last time at Tannadice, 2-1 down, come back to win the game, and then here again today. So that's the kind of culture that we're trying to create within this squad. It's very, very hard to beat a team that never gives up and never throws the towel in, and that's credit to the players.
You touched on how effective that tactical tweak was, Jim. Does that give you food for thought in terms of how you start against County?
Yeah, look, we've got flexibility within the squad. We have to be able to adapt within games and before games, and sometimes you might play a different system just to try and catch the opposition on the hop. But today, because we're trailing the game at half time, we had to then try and get up the pitch a little bit higher and have a bit more of a higher press, and that tactical change allowed us to do that. Instead of having an extra man in defence, we had an extra man in the attack, and we were able to put Hibs under great pressure by doing that.
Was Christian's injuries that have occurrence in the hamstring?
It looks like it, yeah. That's why he didn't start the game. I know people will be questioning, why he isn't in from the start, but he's not long back from a hamstring injury. He's played an important part in the Aberdeen game and the Motherwell game, and we felt the sensible thing to do tonight was to rest him. We knew he was going to have to come onto the pitch at some point. My intention was for the last half an hour, but he didn't last long after half time, unfortunately. Hopefully it's not too serious, because the last thing we need is another injury. We're missing some really key players already with Docherty, Graham, Moult and Sibbald all out. We certainly don't need to be missing Trapper for next week either.
Aside from the long-term guys you mentioned there, anyone you're hoping to have back for the county game?
Well, I thought I would have had a couple back in the squad for today, but unfortunately the game just came that little bit too soon. But listen, delighted with the result. Our away record this season has been excellent. With the point now this afternoon, we jump back up into fourth in the table, albeit on goal difference. And I think for a newly promoted team with such a volume of new players coming to the club in the summer, I think it's a really positive start for this group. And after 11 games, to be sitting where we are is as good as we could have hoped for, I think.
Just finally from me, Richard O'Dada came on obviously at the break and thought maybe his most impactful showing for you guys today. Is he getting up to speed and showing why you brought him to the club at this point? Right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Richard came in late into pre-season, so he wasn't anywhere near it in terms of fitness. And then obviously Docherty, Sibbald, Babunski were kind of mainstays in the team when he did. Now with the injuries that we've had, he's getting opportunities to play, and he's showing everybody why we brought him to the club. And I thought his second half display here today was excellent. He's really aggressive, he's comfortable on the ball, and he played a big part in helping us get a point. Along with the other substitutions, I thought Dalby and Van der Sand were a real handful for the Hibs backline when they went up there. So, delighted to take a point, and we'll get plenty of time to recover now until the next one, and hopefully we'll feel a lot fresher going into the game on Saturday as opposed to how we felt today.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, thanks
Thanks
lads.
very much, Jim. Cheers.
Cheers guys.
Cheers.